prediction-wise, it's difficult. I think I'm gonna go with Danny to win it. Yeah, James.
Danny. Oh wow. Yeah. Okay, that's a good shout. I don't do predictions. You know, Murray Walker always said you do prophecies, and if his prophecies were wrong, they tended to be wrong. But he made a prophecy, which was never a promise. So, yeah. I guess we've only got a minute left in this session. Most cars are coming out onto the circuit. Well, have done their laps, and if you want to take a look at the standings, you can see that Maranzano is on provisional pole at the moment from Feisty Ted, and then Danny, who quick. We know how quick he is. Jason, the championship leader, and he leads it by 19 points over Joe. Is fourth in the qualifying at the moment with RBZ fifth, Matty Bolton in sixth, Melanie in seventh, JP in eighth, then Gorsh ninth, V6 in 10th. Hosu Al-Zugari in P11. I'm so glad I got that right. Cyril Hamilton in 12th. Pred is in 13th with all-rounder. Third place in the championship. He is in 14th. Joe second in the championship. He is only 15th. And there's Jason, who goes provisional pole. And Bottas is last of the runners. Oh, my goodness me. Take a look at how close that gap is. 6 thousandths of a second between Jason and Maranzano for pole. That is close.
That is very close to the top there. Yeah, just on board with V6 Racing. He's got 15 seconds as he goes across the line. We've got yellow flags in sector 2. I don't know whether that's for a retired car. I don't know what V6 Racing is doing there. He's gone across the line with 10 seconds to go and just weaving. It's very strange, and he hasn't even set a lap yet. So, unless...
Okay.
Go for it.
I do apologise. Maranzano's gone quickest. Top Jason, and he's gone with within a tenth. I say within a tenth. Is 1,000th within a tenth, so it's very close at the moment. All rounders had enough. He's stopped his session. He's only 14th on the grid. That's not where he wants to be, and we can see there's probably going to be a few more. Jason is one of them coming through as actually Feisty Ted. Where is he on track? No, he's coming through turn 13. Okay. RBZ as well. Okay, we'll probably just stick on board Jason, I think, because he looks like one of the faster guys going through. Joe has gone into third, meanwhile, in the Mercedes. And we're going to see Jason coming through as well now. Through the final corners. And the championship leader by 19 points, as I mentioned. He needs a pole position again. Let's see if he can get one again. No, not quite. 57 hundredths of a second off Maranzano, and he'll be happy with that, Maranzano. But let's see if Feisty Ted or RBZ. No, RBZ's pit. See down to 5 who come in. So qualifying results. My goodness me, that was very close qualifying, to be fair.
Yeah, top 3 are split by just over a tenth there, James. So, this it shows how good the drivers are in this league at the moment. How close they are at the top. And then the guys behind aren't far off either, so we should be in for a very tasty race today.
Definitely. I mean, if you like a bit of spice in your action, this is what you're going to get, because, of course, Russia, it's not difficult on this old strategy. It's a one-stop. Everyone knows it's a one-stop. But the run down, we've got turn 1, which is the fast kink, and that can cause problems, I've seen in the past. But it's on the run down in towards 2, where if you misjudge braking, that can be a bit of a pain to try and avoid cars. I was commentating on a league the other day, and someone went just straight into the back of other cars. I've only talked through experience. It's not a very nice experience, but yeah. Let's just see. So your grid order then is Lawson, and then Joe and Feisty Ted line up on row 2. Danny and RBZ start on the third row with JP and Melanie, last year GP2 runner-up. P8 on the grid with Matty Bolton, also in GP2 last year, ahead of SDF of 1 Bottas. I can say that. On the 5th row, and then 6th row is Gorsh and Pred. And I've completely forgotten the rest of it. But let's go for the race then. This should be an exciting one, I feel.
Yeah, hopefully it will be. Plenty of good drivers, we both said that, good drivers all through the grid. And do you know if there's any rain at all for the race, James?
I have no idea.
Okay, both got the same information.
Cards or anything to go by. If we have these in the race, we should be, kind of hoping and wishing. I was going to round off the grid. You've got Hosu Al-Ghazari in 13th. V6 is 14th. V6 Hamilton all-rounder failed to set a time. An all-rounder starts from the back. So, man, third in the pit, back of the grid. Well, I hope to see a pretty good comeback through the field from him, but never. Oh, it's raining.
It is raining. Oh.
You can only speak from experience of a Welshman in the rain.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a little bit of experience racing in Russia. That was in F1 2016 actually, so it was a while back since I've raced in the rain around Russia. But got to be careful of those walls, James, because they're a lot closer than people think.
Absolutely. I feel like there's just parts of this circuit where, like turn 4, I think where it's usually flat out. It's flat out, easy, flat on dry conditions. But I'm not actually too sure what it's like in wet conditions. I know where they have to lift off a little bit. I'm not too sure, but yeah, let's hope that the drivers don't make as many mistakes as hopefully we want to see. But yeah, that's of course what they'll be hoping for. I think I don't know whether there's formation laps, so let's go with it. So over lights then. Oh, it's a formation. Damn. Well, that caught me off guard. Anyway.
Interesting. I thought we turned it off because of the issues with the current.
Apparently not.
Okay, hopefully it doesn't break the game, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Oh, people are going off already on the formation lap here.
Pretty happy with their qualifying, to be fair. Feisty Ted in 4th place in the Toro Rosso and Maranzano on pole. That's quite a good position for Toro Rosso. Who else have we got going on? Yeah, it's just a lot of cars getting all mingled together. I'm just really interested to see how all-rounder gets on from the back. I'm surprised that those guys, like, I think, who was it who come across the line? It was a Red Bull, and I can't think of who it was. That's going to be them. Yeah, I muted my...
Or who's the other Red Bull? The V6 Racing, both the Red Bulls. So those guys...
Yeah, that was it, V6.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was going to say about him is, like, as you mentioned in, like, qualifying, he actually come across the line and then started weaving with 10 seconds to go. Like, he should have, thinking about it, maybe should have just set that up. Because these guys knew that they were going to have a race, so why'd you not go for it? Slightly confused by that, but
yeah,
we won't question it.
Yeah, we have to keep an eye on all-rounder who's starting in last today. He's going to try and come through the grid on lap number 1 with this wet start. People are going to be spinning their tyres and going all over the place at the start. He's been disqualified from the session. I presume he'll be put back on the grid as they come around the final few bends. Yeah,
so this is of course momentary moments before we get this race underway, and of course you want to get as much heat in the tyres as really annoys me on this game. You always want to do like the burnouts on towards the grid, but you know, you mess it up, then who knows. F1 2006 had it, mind you, but I'll digress. But here we go. We've got the Toro Rosso. Well, on my picture he's on the left and the Haas on the right, but that's because I'm looking at the cars from the back, if you will. Hopefully that will change. Here we go then. This is where it gets all feisty. 5 lights for the Russian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go, and it's a pretty good start from Maranzano off pole position. You've got to watch his teammate as well, who's getting a pretty bogged down start with the Mercedes. Actually, no, he's going to go at the inside of him, but Jason's into the lead already through turn 1 as we go down towards turn 2. Is he going to hold his lead? Maranzano slots into 2nd place as a Ferrari. In 3rd, that's Danny, I think, alongside Joe. In towards turn 2 we go, and Joe has squeezed out the Ferrari, and I think the Toro Rosso behind a Feisty Ted managed to get through that as well very cleanly. I don't think there was only towards
the only collision I've seen is a little bit of contact with Bottas, but that's about it. But geez, they're all over the place here. But Jason is up into 1st here. And Bottas retired from the session. Oh, there's a big tyre missing there. And I think there was contact with Josu for 15th. And Josu's round as well, James. So nightmare at the back of the grid.
Yeah, I think 2 of the Red Bulls are actually squeezing each other out as they come out the exit of turn 5. That's probably not ideal on their part, but Joe has lost a position from the start. He's lost out to Danny, but Jason getting off to the best possible start, taking the lead from Maranzano, and that is what he would have wanted to see. Is there any action further back? I think that one of the Renaults of Gorsh, I think no, it's not Gorsh, it's his teammate, in fact, Matty Bolton, alongside All-Rounder. So from 16th on the grid, All-Rounder's already up into 9th place, and he's going to go for the Renault here, down in towards turn 14. He's going to potentially try and get him under braking. It's going to be difficult because that Renault looks pretty close to RBZ as well. Isn't close enough to RBZ, and actually makes a mistake. His Gorsh Craven. I think RBZ taking advantage, and the two runners have come together, I feel, but I don't think sideways on the exit. Has lost all sorts of positions there. One of the McLarens getting involved. I think that's Pred who overtook them. And there's another Red Bull round as well. And oh, it's more contact in the back. And V6 and JP, I think that was, coming together there. But RBZ is now leading a train as well.
Yeah, he is, yeah. I think one of those cars in that bunch, James, has got front wing damage as well. I saw a piece come off. It might be the Renault, but Gorsh is going to go around the outside of RBZ. No, he doesn't manage to do it. He pops it back down the inside. The other Renault behind him trying to follow him through, but he makes a move around turn 2. Just about makes it. RBZ is still there. He's off the track there. Oh dear.
Oh, there's no white bollard, so Charlie's not going to be too happy. RBZ made a bit of contact with the Renault as they go through turn 4, but they managed to keep it all together. One of the Red Bulls and the Sauber is not too far behind either. I'm not sure whether that's Gorsh. No, it's Matty Bolton around the outside of RBZ, and he's going to keep it all done, is he? No, not quite. RBZ coming back at him, down in towards 6, and I think he's got the position. I think they're actually a move further ahead. Feisty Ted getting past Joe in the Toro Rosso and the Mercedes. Little squabble there. Wow, yeah, what a start to this race.
Oh, fantastic, isn't it? Great racing from all the drivers. A bit of contact as well, but hopefully that hasn't given those guys too much damage in the rain. Of course, with the full damage in this tier. And V6 is retired. Where is that? Oh, he's binned it. Oh, what turn is that? Ooh, where is that? Not sure where that is.
Not too sure. It'd be turn 12, maybe turn 11, something like that. It's got to have happened there, I'd imagine. But RBZ is getting feisty on the back of, is this Matty Bolton? Indeed he is. He's down the inside of Matty Bolton. I'm not sure whether he's going to be able to make this one stick, the Williams driver, who of course, he's just trying to squeeze him out, isn't he, RBZ? I don't feel like you've ever seen RBZ in such a low position, but he's not really played this game, I don't believe, too often. And he's got a bit deep, and he's going to crash into the side. I think that's All-Rounder. And so Cyril Hamilton gets through as well then. The Sauber and RBZ, that is a poor start on his part, but not a lot he can do. Just so little traction out there for those guys. You can just see how much lock they're putting on just to keep these things in a straight line at the moment. And Hosu Al-Zugari is out as well. And I think that is what car was he in? Where has he been that then? That's down in towards. Oh, he's lost it. Oh, that's a pretty weird place to lose the car. Meanwhile, Danny is looking pretty feisty, I think, on the back of Maranzano for P2 in this race. Keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, I still got yellow flag in sector 2. I believe that's still Josu down.
I think they're just coming through to pass them.
Yeah, CL Hamilton just managed to get past Matty Bolton there, coming in sector number 2. So that's a good move. Is he going to... Ooh, that Renault almost puts it up the inside there as they come through sector number 2. Who else have we got battling away on track? Danny's 4/10 behind Maranzano as they come onto the back curve, you call it? Or was it a straight? What do you say, James?
It's a series of... That's a big firework. It's a series of... yeah, it's just a... I don't really know. Let's call it a back straight for all intents and purposes. Let's go with it. Wow, Cyril Hamilton's apparently 0 seconds behind Matty Bolton. That's because they're side by side through 14, and actually Matty Bolton has got and taken 7th once again from Cyril Hamilton, and he has lost his position again, Hamilton, so he's going to have to just watch his mirrors for a feisty all-rounder, I imagine. Meanwhile, Danny is still up there with Maranzano for P2. He's not giving in, but dirty air, as we know, plays a massive effect on this game. So, you know, you try and get close, and with these wet tyres, that you have no traction at the best of times, and without any dirty air, Maranzano going a bit deep through turn 1. He's going to actually cut across the chicane there, and he's lost out to Danny, who's now taken 2nd place. And Pred has been the latest retirement in this race, and he has gone off. Oh. He's lost it through turn 13, and he's not got a real left wheel. It's not ideal for him.
Oh,
3 wheels on his wagon is out.
It's in the ground on my screen. That's interesting. Just an update on RBZ, James. He's damaged his front wing again on lap number 4. So I don't know if he's going to come into the pits yet again. No, he doesn't. He's going to stay out with front wing damage, it looks like. So he's going to struggle there. You still got Matty Bolton and SRL Hamilton battling away for 8th place. And in the next battle up ahead is Ted is actually gaining on Maranzano after cutting turn number 2. He's gaining on him ever so slightly as we go through the... it's another battle to go on.
I wonder if there's going to be any team orders in this, if I'm honest, because they're both Toro Rosso, albeit it's really early on in the season, so I'm not too sure why you would want... That's why I muted my mic. In the championship, of course, I'm losing my words because of concentration, because of other things, but still, those 2 Toro Rossos, yeah, too early on in the championship I feel for team orders, so I think they may just go for it. Screw it. I mean, what can they lose? They're not going to lose anything early on in the championship. They may as well, think about that towards the last stages of the season. We've seen it in the past in this league, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see it again in the future. So, yeah, those 2 getting pretty close on track. That is Maranzano fights Ted, the 2 Toro Rossos. So, but other than that, there's no real close battles going on. So.
No, but Ted is right on the back of Maranzano here. It's down to 3/10, James. So, we might see a diving manoeuvre into the next couple of corners. Oh, he's going wide down to the AstroTurf, and of course that is a very slippy area of the circuit. You've got Joe and Gorsh. Actually, here's a battle. Gorsh goes running outside, doesn't manage to do it there, but Joe is really under pressure from Gorsh here. Unless, yeah, he does go back with him and doesn't manage to do it there. Were these guys the opposite way round, or has Gorsh got past?
No, Joe's always been ahead. He's just had a really bad race so far, to be fair. So, yeah, Gorsh will want to try and keep that gap as small as possible. Let's just see. I'm not sure. I think Gorsh is a reserve, I'm pretty sure. It's weird to say that, but yeah.
It also looks like the rain is starting to die out, James, so we could see some dry weather running in the next couple of laps, potentially. Yeah.
Oh, I think definitely. I think it's dry. I don't rain anymore. I think it's just a case of when now. It's too early yet, obviously, but it'll be interesting to see who makes the first call. I think that's probably... I mean, that's the next pivotal moment in this race. Saying that, it is getting drier, but Jason's gone faster. So maybe that is something to, fastest of all again. He's done a 50.3. So bear that in mind. The times are dropping, so the track is getting better wear, I guess you could say. But this is now becoming about not only between Joe and Gorsh, but Hamilton behind as well, who isn't too far off the back of Gorsh. So yeah, I'd watch this. This may be interesting, I think is the best word, as the laps go on.
Yeah, Hamilton is catching the battle for 5th place as they go around the big sweeping right-hander. Joe seems to be drifting through there. Oh, all the drivers seem to be drifting through that corner. Yeah, it's brilliant.
That's Gymkhana-esque.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Gorsh going wide again, and that might cost him. No, it's not going to. I thought it may put him offline, and he may have lost position. Joe's got straight on, though. Hamilton is actually going to look for a move, I think, on Gorsh around the outside. He's not going to be... it's just not brave. You can't get your car in there. There's not too much room. And now we're looking at a 3-way scrap between... this is Joe, Gorsh, and Hamilton. And all different cars in 3 different positions if you want, 3 different engines, but they're all equal cars, so it doesn't really matter too much about that. Let's see if... I'm not too sure. I think there's pretty much even Stevens in terms of like the gaps between them and who's closest to who. It's all very traffic-like, if that's the way you could put it. I think, no, Gorsh wasn't close enough through turn 14 there. He's just going to back off for a bit, but Hamilton is going to look up his inside, and this could be a good move into 6th place, and Gorsh is going to get squeezed down. He's going to have to try and squeeze out Hamilton on the exit, and Gorsh gets the position and gets a massive oversteer moment coming off of the exit of the corner, and towards penultimate corner. He's holding him around the outside. Hamilton keeping his car in the inside. Is he going to do it? No, he isn't. He's not quite close. He just cannot get that momentum going off the corner because he's on the wet part of the circuit. And so Gorsh is keeping this 6th place away from Hamilton. It's like throwing a carrot in front of a rabbit, I guess you could say. Just not... It's there for the taking. You just can't take it at the moment. And he's going to look up the inside again, is Hamilton, and he's not going to be close enough. He's probably just waiting for Gorsh to make a mistake. There is the mistake, and Hamilton should surely go straight around the outside of him. I say that, Gorsh nearly put him off through turn 4. That's a good move from Hamilton. Putting him under pressure, gets into 6th place.
Jeez, incredible racing there, side by side on multiple turns. And, Joe's made a slight mistake as well, because they've just caught up to the back of him. And with this battling for 5th place, Matty's come into play, but Joe's come under pressure from Gorsh there, tries it around the outside, doesn't manage to do it, but of course, Hamilton tries to go around Joe, but Hamilton's got to be careful, otherwise Gorsh is going to be right behind him as he pops it down the outside. Will he do it around the outside? Surely not. Oh, and he's done it! Just about off the track. And Gorsh is going to get Joe as well. They're coming down the back straight in the slipstream. Almost 3 abreast coming down the straight. Oh, it's incredible racing from these drivers. And, oh my gosh, a very defensive down the inside. Hamilton looks like he's got 5th place now. And, it's going to be contact. Oh, a bit of contact between the drivers. And Hamilton is into 5th place, James. Whew.
That's a great bit of racing. The Renault is involved as well. You've got to watch out for Matty Bolton behind Joe. Back up the inside, though, for P5. He's going to try and take it once again. The Renault, of course, has made a mistake. Matty Bolton up the inside, but you've got to watch Hamilton as well. He's up the inside of Joe. And I feel that Joe is just doing everything he can in terms of defence to hold on to his 5th place. Oh, he's gone wide, though, actually, through the penultimate corner. Is he going to lose position? Indeed, he does. Well, he loses it to Matty Gorsh, I should say. Isn't going to lose it, I don't think, just yet, but that could be close. Down 2. This is stuff. This is on 5. It's 10 points, but all these points matter, of course, come towards the end of the championship. So you've got to bear that in mind. Matty Bolton looks to be making a move on the inside of his teammate. Can't do it. Gorsh is going to go for a lunge up the inside of turn 2 and gets the move done, but he's going to squeeze out Joe. And this should surely allow his teammate through. No, he may be 3 abreast through turn 4. Look at this. 3 wide. Joe up the inside. You've got Gorsh in the middle. And is he going to be able to hold it, Gorsh? That is the question. I'm not sure whether he is. His teammates on the inside having to defend, and Joe's up the inside looking. And again, is he going to be able to get the move done? No, he nearly went contact on the exit. Joe's up the inside again. Can he get the move done here? Yes, he can. No, up the inside goes Gorsh. He's Ricardoing this one. Up the inside, he can't do it there. Joe's still sticking with him. He's pushing him off the road almost into the wall. And will he get this position done? This is tremendous around the outside from Gorsh. And into 5th, 6th place goes Gorsh Crab. And what a bit of racing that was.
Jeez, that was absolutely incredible. I've just got a smile on my face looking at that battle. It's incredible.
How they keep that all out of the walls, I'll never know. But Gorsh's aggressive manoeuvres, I feel, will be questioned, I think, after the race. But I'm not too sure. I think it's tremendous racing from the guys. And now Joe's, as I'm trying to catch my breath back, under pressure from Matty Bolton.
Yeah, definitely under pressure from Matty there. Losing the back end a little bit. I think these guys are spread out. I think guys want a little break from the battling they had to try and regain control of their cars. Joe goes a little bit wide there as they come round the double right-hander to finish off lap number 9. And here we go. There they go. And they're all spread out now. Let's get back on board with the leader, Jason. He's coming around this big sweeping left-hander. You can see blue skies on screen right now, so it looks like these guys will come into pit soon. The track is definitely drying out, less spray than when we started with. Danny is back 6 seconds behind there. Maranzano down into 3rd. Ted is dropped back a little bit from Maranzano in 4th place. Hamilton, a little bit of who is that for? And that's Melanie.
That is Melanie.
And all rounders retired as well.
I think those two were side by side going through turn 14. I think that's just cost all rounder his chances of anything. May have lost a bit of his front wing. Melanie's lost a lot of front wing on the right hand side. It's quite evident when you look at his car. He has lost a lot of front wing there. But yeah, Melanie, I'm not sure whether he'll continue. It's up to him, of course. RBZ is now promoted into 11th. Let's just see how he will get on. Let's not forget, we're only on lap 9 of 27, and we've seen that. That is pretty amazing. And RBZ has now retired. So there you go, Commentators curse right out the top drawer. He's had enough. Not a good day at the not a good day in the office, I should say, for Williams.
Yeah, both, of course, Melanie now in the pits, and I think RBZ, he had front wing damage and sort of just gave up. He was really struggling with the wet conditions. But wherever these guys finish now, they will get points. So it doesn't matter where you finish now, just get some points on the board. Just don't bin it, hopefully. So, yeah, so yellow flag and say, okay, that's now gone. So let's get back. Any battles on screen? The closest one is Joe and Matty Bolton. Of course, Matty is 5/10 behind Joe, coming round to finish off lap number 10 now. Screen is a little bit delayed. Coming around the double right-hander here to finish off the lap. I'm lost for words.
What if we get DRS actually? I think that's something to consider, because that's when you know that the conditions are becoming a lot drier. And we'll check now. No, he doesn't. So it's not quite yet. Not quite the dry conditions just yet. So of course these guys, you know, they may just have a feeling that it may get drier too quick. I mean, it's just judgment now, because this game is so unpredictable, I think, in terms of weather conditions. Well, it's more unpredictable than last game, because last game it used to just flash or a safety car would come out and that would just ruin it, because you'd know that the changing conditions. But now it's a case of, it's just, I guess, feeling, whether these guys feel like this is, they can sort of, when they decide to come in for their pit stop almost. So, yeah, I had a few frames there of the same car going around the same corner. And again.
Yeah. Interesting to see who will come into the pits first. Will the leader come in and risk it, or will he stay out a couple more laps, see what the other drivers are doing? So Jason is 6 seconds ahead of Danny, with Maranzano down in third place, a further 3 seconds behind Danny. Ted 4 seconds, but Hamilton's had a great drive, up 10 places, James, at the start. Definitely with the retirements, and he did have a good start from my memory. But yeah, who's that? Melanie's just retired. Ooh. And I think he's just given up as well.
Yeah, much to play for. Like, you can see he finishes 10th, but does that mean like? Because I know some leagues do it differently, where like you've got to finish to gain your points, and if he's finished, I mean, it's 1 point, so it's not like too dramatic almost, but yeah, I'm not too sure whether they allow the points sort of thing if they finish 10th and retire. I'm not too sure how it works like that, but still, Joe and Gorsh have come into the pits, and they're bolting a set on what I can see Gorsh's car, the super soft tyres. So what's Joe gone on to? Has he done the same?
Yep, both on the same tyre. Yeah, both on the same same tyre at the moment. And it looks like Gorsh actually jumped Joe in the pits as well. So I think these guys, the guys who are still on the intermediate tyres, will be asking Jeff what he's thinking about the conditions. It's still a little bit wet on track. Spray is still around.
But McLaren's got. Oh no, well, McLaren's gone off. No, yeah, absolutely right. Sorry.
No, not to worry. Yeah, these guys. I think the guys on the Inters will. So, can you ask Jeff about other drivers on different tyres? I don't think he's that smart.
You can ask who the driver ahead is, but I don't know whether you can. It's all weird. I'm not too sure. They'll find out. But at the moment, it doesn't look like there's an awful amount of grip. You can see Joe and Gorsh sliding about and not being able to keep this on the road at the moment. Well, they're keeping it all on taps, but now it's a case of, like, now it's where are they going to come out in relation to Matty Bolton, because he was the closest guy to them, I should say. Danny is in, as is Maranzano is in as well. Feisty Ted is going to make it a Toro Rosso stack. Ooh. So that's a brave game to play. You can't be doing that. Danny's already out of the pits. Now in comes one of the Toro Rossos. That's Maranzano in. Is he going to be quick enough? Oh, he is. Oh, but not on terms of the time.
Slight delay.
He just, slight. I was nearly absolutely spot on, but not quite.
Yeah.
Joe and Gorsh,
they're not gaining. They're really not gaining here. As they come round, where is that? Oh, jeez! JP is just stopped on the second to last corner. Oh my! Is it? Are people seeing it on
I was just seeing him going back to the pits. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Going on there?
Actually, did Gorsh get...
He's gone on ultras.
Damage?
Yeah.
Looks like he did, yeah. Gorsh has got front wing damage after that. Nightmare. So,
oh, that's
JP's
he's gone off. Jeez.
laggy car has caused Gorsh to get front wing damage, and he's going to really struggle with it still being wet and on slick tyres. Joe should have a field day getting past Gorsh now. And, yeah, GG F1 2017.
What a tremendous game this is. It's not even ready. But we'll digress. It's now wondering now whether Danny can close the gap to Jason. Because if he's not going to close the gap to Jason, then Jason may as well. I mean, just keep it another lap. Because at the moment, Danny is actually losing time to Jason on these fresh, slick tyres. Speaking of which, it's just said on my screen that Jason is 9th. I think my timing screen's wrong because it says he's a lap down.
Yeah, he's
well,
he's on Inters in first at the moment on my screen.
Well, let's just go with that. But now whether Matty Bolton stops, he's on Inters. Consider that. Matty Bolton on Inters. He is staying out. So, okay. Well, now it depends whether he's going to be able to close up to Danny and whether that gap's going to sort of channel. Now it's gone back to normal, so Jason is back on the top of the timing tower. Race control, DRS is enabled, so gone straight. It's very uncharacteristic from him.
Yeah, it looks like Jason will pit this lap and still get out in first. He's got 32 seconds. I believe that's enough to get in and out of the pits here in Russia. And I think actually Matty Bolton has just lost a place to Feisty Ted, who's gone down the inside of the Maranzano. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, Maranzano's just lost a place to Ted there. So that's unfortunate there. Maybe team orders, like you said earlier, James.
Does happen, even if you're going for 4th place. It's, you know, I mean, for them, it's not making too much of a difference. Let's be fair here, because they're both 4th and 5th, and they're not really anywhere near anyone. Going to be interesting to see though when Jason does come into the pit lane then. So what tyres does he go on is actually what I'm kind of interested in, because I don't know whether you could get ultra softs 12 laps. I'm not too sure. I would probably not. You know, I've seen things in the past, so let's just see what Jason decides to go on to. I think they're ultras. They indeed are ultra soft. So Jason going on to ultra soft tyres for the last stint of this race. So I don't think tyre wear's a massive problem around here, so we should be able to get a few good laps here. Danny is only just coming around the final corner whilst Jason's leaving the pits. That is a mighty lead Jason has. Danny goes fastest of all then with a 49.4. Those times are going to tumble now because of these dry tyres. So
yeah, it looks like
Feisty Ted's got.
Sorry. Ted is up for 48.8. Very good lap from Ted as Maranzano, Hamilton. Joe might get past Matty as he comes out of the pits on some super softs from the Renault garage. Will Joe get him? Joe should be able to get him. It might be a battle actually. No, actually Joe's just super
pretty close. Oh no, there he is. No. It'll be Gorsh now, won't it? I think the two runners could be going out side by side nearly.
No, it's a bit too big, it looks like.
Oh no, I didn't even see him. Jeez, yeah, he has come up miles ahead of Gorsh. I don't know what's happened to Gorsh. I think it's just front wing. He's just not got anything there. He's provided one of the most exciting moments of this race so far, but other than that, there's not been too much to say about Gorsh this race. My TV's going to turn off in 50 seconds.
Oh dear.
Change that.
Gorsh did. He binned it on lap 13, round turn turn 4 on lap 13, and he's actually catching Matty in front of him at the moment. Matty went a bit wide, goes wide again there. Will Gorsh get a move on his teammate? Now a second behind. Of course, DRS is now enabled as well, but Gorsh does have that front wing damage, so he might struggle a little bit. 1.6 seconds. He might be able to get in. I think he's past the detection zone, so he will not get out on lap number 14. Who else have we got battling away? Everyone else seems a bit spread out. Ted and Maranzano got 2.7.
It is very spread out at the moment, but for all you guys wondering, you still, well, Melanie, RBZ, all-rounder, Pred, Al-Zugari, V6 and Bottas are all out of the race. That is 7 retirements move out of the race, and Melanie is left. And actually, I think as we were just saying there, I believe Matty Bolton's right on the back of Joe now, and DRS is enabled. So could Joe? He's losing time now. So Joe's now going to have to hold position against Matty Bolton in the Renault. Those two Renaults have been all over this this whole race. Joe's second in the championship. This is not what he wants to see. Now Joe's under pressure once again from Matty Bolton, and maybe towards the inside will go Matty Bolton on Joe in towards turn 2. This is actually, he's going to try and squeeze him out, a bit of contact on the exit, and Gorsville trying to get involved, but Joe thinks better of it and drops to P7 in this race then, and that is weird because I didn't think Joe was losing too much time, but it seems he is. He's losing a hell of a lot of time on those tyres. I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe a bit of front wing damage. Who knows? Although Matty Bolton's gone deep. Not going to get it.
No, I was going to say Joe has got no damage to his front wing, so I think he's just struggling with the tyres, maybe warming them up when it's still a little bit wet on track. A little bit of spray still there, but he is all over the back of Matty Bolton here as they come towards the second DRS dissection zone. And looks like he should be. Oh, he dives down the inside. Interesting move there. Oh, losing the back end, and he will get DRS as well. So Joe should be able to get past him. Will Gorsh get involved? No, Gorsh is a bit further back, but Matty Bolton is in the slipstream coming down towards the third sector. Joe goes a bit defensive, holding the inside line, and looks like Joe has sealed the move off, but he will have to be careful on the main straight because he looks like Matty will get the DRS, James.
Yeah, Joe's been in a position already this race where he's been swamped by two Renaults. He'll want to just, the best moment of the race, it just was, just how close those guys were. It was absolutely tremendous to see, and now he's going to have to hold these two banana cars behind them and hope that they don't slip up, no pun intended. So here we're going to see, I hate my puns when I come out with them, they're bloody awful. But now Joe is going to be under pressure from Matty Bolton towards turn 2. He isn't not quite. No, Matty, not close enough, it seems, through there. But maybe through turn 4, he's got an inside line. He's got a much tighter line than Joe. And this could compromise Joe if he's going to stay wide. He's just got to try and defend now. He could go around the outside, Matty Bolton. Indeed, he will go around the outside of Joe through there. Gorsh will try and follow him through. And this could be an absolute disaster for the Mercedes driver, who's going to lose 2 positions in as many corners. And will he do it? No, yes, he will, Gorsh. He'll just get through. He's squeezing Joe out. And there is a change of position again. So, 2 positions. The 2 Renault cars there. And he's going to try and come back at Gorsh, actually, on the run down just before the DRS zone. But Gorsh cuts him off nicely. And does enough there. Jason goes fast as well again with a 43.2. Those that, as I said, times are tumbling. They are really dropping. Danny, there you go, another 43.0 from Danny. So maybe the dry weather is playing its part on better. Oh, there, feisty Ted of 42.2. This is more like qualifying rather than the race, seeing all these times dropping. But getting ever closer. Joe's actually last of the runners so far. So yeah, this is. Well, I don't know. He's going to get DRS from Gorsh. It's a no-brainer, but just whether we can get him down in towards turn 2, because it is a brave move. You will have to put a lot of trust in the guy on the outside of you if you decide to go to the inside. That he won't. Oh, look at them swerving, coming down in towards the pit straight there. Now Joe is going to get a good run, hopefully, on the back of towards turn 2. This is Joe moves to the inside. Gorsh went for it on one lap, and Joe hasn't gone for it there. So feels that he may be able to pass him elsewhere on the circuit. Playing it safe, I think, is probably the best way of doing that one. Yeah,
it looks like... Oh, he's very close. A bit of contact, I think, there between Joe and Gorsh. Is that front wing damage? No, Joe's okay at the moment. But impressive drive from Gorsh. He's got front wing damage, and he's still managing to hold off Joe for 7th place at the moment, but this has allowed Matty Bolton to get a big lead now. He's got 2.1 seconds ahead of this battle for 7th place, but Ted seemed to drop off Danny. It was 2 seconds at one point, but it's now down to 8 seconds as Jason does a new fast lap of 1:42 flat. Geez, that's a quick lap in these conditions, but of course Jason is on the ultra softs, James, so not surprising.
You would expect it, exactly. We've got about 9 laps to go. Of course, you can go for your driver of the day. Also, is there anything else I need to keep aware of? No, there isn't. Oh, why? Actually, I'm trying to think of who won the Asia Pacific race earlier on. I'm not too sure. But still, that was a pretty good one, apparently. I think Warden came from something like 17th and managed to finish second. So it's a pretty good drive from him in the race. But moreover from that, we're going to see a bit more scrapping between Joe and Gorsh. We've seen it in the past, and we'll see it again now. So let's just see whether Joe is going to have the legs on Gorsh, as it were, down in towards turn 2. I don't think he's going to be close enough. He's too far back on Gorsh, to be fair. I don't know whether they're really losing their, or where Joe is losing their time. They're on the same tyres, basically. These are exactly the same in terms of duration that these guys have been on them. It's just who is going to keep the better of them. And Joe may be looking on the inside, thinks better of it through there. And these guys get so over. There's so much oversteer that comes through the back. Maranzano as well. I'm not sure what's happened to Maranzano there, but he's under pressure from Hamilton, who's looking to the outside as we head down in towards turn 14, I believe this is. And we're going to move up the inside wall, Hamilton, and Hamilton's going to get himself into 4th place. And from 15th on the grid, it's into 4th in this race. What a tremendous drive from SRL Hamilton. Absolutely brilliant drive.
Yeah, incredible drive from the man in the Sauber up into 4th place now. Good haul of points from starting way down on the grid. So he'll be very happy. He's got 8 laps to secure those points. He's got 6 seconds to Ted. Got yellow flags in sector 3. That's Gorsh, actually. He's just binned it like. And he's dropped 3 seconds. Back to Joe now, James. So I think Gorsh made a mistake and Joe has got ahead.
I was just checking the penalties there, and Jason has got 2 warnings since he's been on those ultra softs, so he's really pushing the limits. Danny, meanwhile, sees so far. Feisty Ted has a penalty as well, so at the moment Danny will still finish second, but you know it's going to be close for Feisty Ted as well. I'm not sure. I'm going to take a look again because I was put off. Yeah, he's got one more warning for Feisty Ted. He has 2 penalties. SRL Hamilton has 2 penalties and 2 warnings as well, so he's not exactly on the cusp of it. So that penalty has also got from Maranzano, so he's got to play out about a 3-second buffer and not get any more warnings before the end of the race, and he'd get a 4th place, which would be a pretty tremendous drive, although 5th would be just as good, to be fair. But well, we'll see now then. Is there any battles going on? No.
Yeah, the only thing on the screen I can see is Maranzano and Hamilton, but of course Maranzano is struggling a little bit on these super softs, and Hamilton is absolutely flying, and I could potentially see Hamilton catching up with Ted. He's got 6 seconds to do it, and Maranzano's sort of dropping back little by little every sector, and then you got Matty Bolton a further 19 seconds behind Maranzano. So yeah, unless Maranzano makes a mistake, Matty Bolton might have to settle for 6th place. But it's another fast lap from Hamilton. So he's really gaining on Feisty Ted in front of him. So hopefully a battle will commence towards the latter stages of this race.
Hopefully so, but Feisty Ted is, as we know, he is absolutely rapid on 1 lap pace. He is something else I've seen in the past, and it wouldn't surprise me if he could manage to hold on to this 3rd place. There are 7 to go in this race, and Hamilton will have to make up over a second a lap to be able to pass him. I mean, to catch him it's less, but he needs to pass him as well. And passing, getting close to a car in this game is one thing. I think passing is complete another, thing to think about. But I'm really impressed by Matty Bolton, actually. I'm surprised, because when I commentated GP2 last year in SRL, and this guy cropped up, and he was, with no disrespect, he was midfield. He was a midfield driver. He was never really up on the podium, ever. And he's come into Tier 1, it looks like, and he's done a stellar job, because he's beaten, a few guys in this league that really are pretty quick guys. I mean, Joe is, a pretty quick guy on this game. There's no question he's, Tier 1 AOR and such what. But, to be able to beat him would be an achievement. He's just done such a good job. Just keep it all out the walls, and it's his teammate was being really aggressive alongside Joe, but he's managed to go about his business and sticking in 6th place. So good drive so far, I'd say, from Matty Bolton. and Feisty Ted, as we just said, going fastest. Then Hamilton going fastest, 37.4. I've never seen so many fastest laps in one race. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just how many fastest laps are getting posted in this race.
Yeah,
But,
it's incredible. It's one after another at the moment, James. These guys are really pushing now with 6 laps to go, really trying to get that faster lap and trying to catch the guys in front of them, respectively. But yeah, Jason does have 7 seconds to Danny, so it's going to be a bit tricky for Danny to catch him up. But who knows, those Ultrasoft might start to wear out, and Danny could gain something, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, he's just got to keep going, Danny. It's a really difficult race. I mean, now seeing Jason just stopped at exactly the right moment, to be fair. To go smash on a set of Ultrasoft tyres and just the pace that he's got on those tyres now is absolutely ridiculous. It's going to be really difficult for Danny, as you said, to get really close to Jason. It's not going to be easy, but you know what? We know that Danny is a good racer, so I don't think he'll be too disheartened with a 2nd place, to be fair. But there is literally nothing else going on, is there?
No, unfortunately not. Yeah, everyone's very spread out. The only person close is Maranzano to Hamilton, but Maranzano is dropping back slightly, sector by sector. So I can't, unless Hamilton makes a mistake. Maranzano's going to stay in 5th place in that Toro Rosso, and Maranzano, of course, got pole, so he will be a bit disappointed if he finishes in 5th. James, not the best outing for the Toro Rosso driver.
Yeah, you've also got to consider as well, looking at it this way. I mean, Maranzano started on pole and they were in dry conditions. So you would feel that maybe he may have the pace sort of fit. You know, with dry sets of tyres, he may actually be quite quick. I'm not saying that he isn't, but he's not been as high up the front as maybe I would have imagined. I mean, 5th isn't... It's not setting the world alight, to be fair. But, you know, he's currently... I mean, he is still going to finish 4th because Hamilton's penalties. You know, Hamilton still needs to pull out a 2nd gap now. He's 2 seconds ahead of Maranzano. He's got to get 1 more, and of course he will get that 4th. So, drive from Hamilton. I've been impressed, but just how quick he has been on this race. It's been stunning. I could only imagine where if he had started towards the front, more towards the front, whether he'd really been able to challenge the guys like Danny, like Jason, as well in the race. So, yeah, it's a bit disappointing, but. Still 4th place from 15th, really good drive. In fact, I'd probably go far as say drive of the day for myself.
Always called it.
I've called it, yeah. It's a big call.
Yeah. I think I'd have to agree with
Hamilton.
Agree with you, yeah, James. Hamilton's had a fantastic drive today, gaining, like you said, 11 places and just keeping it easy in 4th place. But yeah, incredible drive. And like you said, if he started further up, he could have done something else. But there you go, another fast lap, 37.3. So yeah, time's tumbling.
Yeah. Also, you just got to feel as well. He hasn't, you know, he's had to make moves this race. He hasn't just got through luck of retirements. He has had to make a few passes in this race, and you won't just want to mess it all up now. He's got to get another 2nd to Maranzano. It's probably the big one to watch, because if Maranzano can keep this gap, then he's in business. But you've just got to consider Hamilton. He's, you know, just that little bit more. He just has to push that little bit more. But you can't push too hard, because you don't want to get another warning, and for him that would be another penalty. So yeah, actually, let's check his penalty situation. So yeah, 2-1. Oh no, he's got another penalty, so he will not finish in P4. Despite that, he will still remain my driver of the day, but still.
Yeah. Just a fun fact for those who are watching: if Jason wins this, that's his third win in a row. So getting the hat trick of wins. So for the Haas driver, so you'll be very happy with that. And I believe he's winning the championship at the moment, James, if I'm correct in saying that. Yeah. So extending that championship lead even further until we get to Barcelona next, isn't it? The Circuit de Catalunya next week.
Yeah, funny should see whether we should call it the Spanish Grand Prix or whether we should call it the Catalan Grand Prix because of what happened today. Yeah. But I mean, you know, that's all up to them. I'm not going to get political. Yeah, for all you wondering, Jason, 19 points ahead of Joe going into this race. Of course, now I'm trying to go off maths here, and my maths isn't great, but it would be bigger than that. it would be 6 plus 25. I don't know. I'm not going to try and work it out because I'll make a mess of it. I think it's around 30 points, but I'm not certain. Maybe just over 30 points Jason would get. So I don't know if anyone actually is in the chat. I don't read chats for some reason. I always get moaned at when I'm doing commentaries. Oh, James, you should read the chat. It's all kicking off in the chat. People tell me at the end of the race. Oh yeah, okay. Just never check it. So just want to delve. I don't know whether we should or not. I mean, we've got GP2 next week. I don't know what. No, they don't have a GP3 anymore. But GP2 is next week. I think that's on Thursday. I believe that's a pretty good little season they've got going on now. I wish I could be involved in it, if I'm completely honest with you, because I'm definitely not as quick as these guys. Nowhere near. Maybe on Project Cars, but not on this game for now. But I don't know. You got station. I don't know who commentates on that anymore, because I think they just do a bunch of revolving things. It used to just be me, but not that anymore. Gone up in the world. 2 laps to go.
Yeah, 2 laps to go. And it looks like Jason will get the win. He's got 2 laps to not bottle it. Hopefully he won't. That would be a very dramatic ending to round number 4 of SRL Tier 1. But Ted is gaining on Danny ever so slightly.
Yeah.
He's down to 4.6 seconds, but I don't think he's going to get it. He's 2 laps to gain.
You say that. Danny has got 9 seconds worth of penalties.
Of course he does.
Feisty Ted has 3 seconds worth. So he will finish second with Feisty Ted in this race. So not ideal for Danny. Unless Danny can pull it out of the stops in these last 2 laps, then it does seem like Feisty Ted will finish second place, which is not ideal, but still, will he finish ahead of Hamilton? Yeah, he definitely will finish ahead of Hamilton. That's a no-brainer. Unfortunate to say it like that, but it's true. Any other plugs that I can think of? I mean, Classic Leagues on Wednesdays. I mean, you won't see as many plugs as this in a league race, I'm sure, but because there's nothing going on. I can't really mention any other leagues because it's, I don't know why people don't mention other leagues in one league, but I guess it's promoting other leagues. I'm going into a whole different ball game.
Yeah, it's a pot we don't want to dive into and cause some friction in the F1 community.
Yeah. Yeah, I might get hated for that. But anyway, not like that's ever happened in the past on Twitter. Danny still keeping his... it's not, is it? I mean, he's got to find 1.5 seconds in 2 laps. If he doesn't, there you go, Feisty Ted. He'll finish second. But it's 4.6, so, I mean, he is pulling... Yeah, no, it's gone back down to 4.5. I think it's definitely Feisty Ted now.
It looks like it is. I can't see him unless... Well, these guys are so consistent in Tier 1. They won't bottle it at all. It's not some sort of assist league or another league that doesn't use anything. So these guys are so consistent and they should stay in this position. I can't see him bottling unless some sort of tyre wear issue with Jason because he's on the ultra softs. But fortunately we can't see tyre wear on screen. That would be brilliant if we could see that on the telemetry as well. But maybe they bring that into another update, Codemasters. That would be brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, then you've just got to consider if you were. I don't want to make it sound like it, but if it was too realistic in many ways, like you wouldn't want it to be like. Oh, sorry, it'd be too unrealistic maybe because if you watch a real life race, you can only see from the grainings on the tyres whether the tyre's going off. So I'm not sure whether having tyre wear. It would be nice. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a sense of realism as Jason begins his final lap of this race in a very, very dominant display. There is no other way about it. Danny goes fastest of all with a 37.3 and unfortunately won't finish second because of the man behind, Feisty Ted, who is third and has looked pretty quick on 1 lap pace this race and always has. So the gap is now 5 seconds. If Danny can get that to 6, let's not forget he will finish second, but find a it's 5 point the gap. So 7/10. It could get very close towards the end of this one, but don't put your money on it because I think it's just a little too little too late for Danny, and I don't know whether he's just going to miss out on second. So
I think you might just miss out. It's going to be like half a second. It's staying up and down on 5.3, but yeah, I've seen stranger things happen. So who knows?
Yeah, the gap now 5.4. That gap is extending as much as Danny is closing the gap to Jason. He doesn't need to, of course. He may have a lot of fuel in reserve. That's something that we can check. Let's just see. He does have a fair bit. I think he's just going to burn it all at the end and hope that he gets the position. But Jason is coming around the penultimate corner now, and he has driven an absolute stellar drive from Jason. 3 wins in a row this is going to be, and he takes his third in the rush. Mender Jason, who wins the Grand Prix, and in spectacular fashion. And it will be second place for Danny for now, but it will be Feisty Ted who will finish second. Danny will finish third. So unfortunate turns of events for Danny, but that's only third for him today. Cyril Hamilton from 15th to finish 4th, and Maranzano will beat him because of penalties. Matty Bolton, who was battling with Joe and Gorsh in the earlier stages of the race, is coming through, the number 13, to finish in P6. He should do anyway, unless he's got penalties that I just haven't seen. Around the final corner, P6 for Matty Bolton. Joe finishes P7. A very bad day in the office for the Merc driver, to be fair. Gorsh is going to go around the final corner and round off the drivers today, and spins it across the line as well for good measure. Disappointing down the office for Gorsh. But I think front wing damage, as we mentioned, probably key factor to why he wasn't as quick as he potentially could have been. Well, fun as well.
Yeah.
Who knows what that's like. Yeah.
Surprised it's not.
Oh, dear me.
Suppose it's not fizzy vodka, be it Russia, but there'll be some potent stuff coming out of those bottles. But he's soaking the cameraman there. I'm sure he won't be very happy with his expensive camera being ruined. But yeah, an unusual podium with Haas, Toro Rosso, and Ferrari, but a great win for Jason in first, with Ted taking second place, Danny third, Maranzano fourth, Hamilton fifth, Matty Bolton in sixth, Joe 7th, Gorsh in 8th, and everybody else had retired. So not sure if they get points or not, but 8 finishers, say James. And it was in the rain, this race, but they sort of died out in the dry conditions.
Yeah, you saw that tremendous battle between Joe and the Renaults. I think that was just a standout moment of the race for me. It was just absolutely how those guys managed to keep it out of the wall, insane, but they managed to keep it all off the barriers. Happy days for them. I hope we're doing podium interviews. I've always done podium interviews in SRL, so hopefully it's not going to be any different.
I believe we are. If you want to take it, well, I won't get everybody in, and if you want to take away, what do you want to do, first and third, and I'll do second?
First, okay, if you like. Yeah. Happy days. Right then, so there are your top 3, of course, as mentioned in, of course, the race classifications. You can see, remember to tick that box, lads. It was Jason from Feisty Ted from Danny. So Jason, coming to you first. It looked pretty easy out there. I mean, maybe too easy, but it looked easy out there. You decided, I don't want to say gamble, because you definitely didn't gamble, but you went kind of later than everyone else in terms of when you stopped for dry tyres. Were you always planning that? Was that always something that you were going to do if that ever became present?
Yeah, I had the 6-second gap, I think it was, and the track was taking ages to dry out, so in that case I always just wait until DRS gets enabled, and the lap it got enabled is the lap I pitted, so I think that was probably the right lap, but maybe the guys behind did catch up by about a second or so, but it wasn't too much.
Yeah, also, I mean, this is your 3rd win on the spin, if I'm right in saying that, so I mean, you're pretty dominant, it seems. Is this just, I mean, you probably is this a sign of things to come? Are you just going to vet all this from 2011 and just walk away with it, or is this going to be? No. Well, there you go. Let's have your verdict. What do you think?
I hope not.
No.
I
Not
think
anyone.
there's plenty of other drivers who are quick enough, so I think people like Cyril Hamilton hasn't really got a good race together yet. He's definitely got the pace, and there's plenty of others as well. I was pretty surprised about the gaps I've had in the last couple of races, but hopefully it will be closer.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot, if you want to go on to second place.
Yeah, Ted, a fantastic result for yourself. You benefited from Danny having a few penalties. So that's your first podium on of SRL Tier 1.
I think it is, yeah. Oh no, I got one last season in Britain. But other than that, yeah. My first podium.
Yeah, and how did you find the conditions in the race? Of course, it went from wet to dry. How you find the dry tyres and sort of slightly damp conditions?
Well, it's clear that I need to improve my wet pace, but my dry pace is a lot better, and that showed, to be honest. But I did get stuck behind Joe and Manzano a bit at the start, and I knew I wasn't going to overtake Manzano, and so I sort of did save a bit of fuel because I was going to get held up in the pits anyway, so I dropped back a bit, and then I came through Manzano, made a mistake I think, and then I just got past him, and then I was literally on a charge after Danny. But I did sort of know, I think he had a bit more fuel at the end, so he did set in a PB lap time and that, and I really didn't know he had 9 seconds, so I would have taken P3, to be honest.
Yeah, but a great result. And head it over to James to finish off the podium interviews.
Right over to me, right, and then there was Danny. Third place. What can I say? It was a pretty good race. It looked pretty solid from yourself out there. I mean, I'm guessing you're full time again. Hopefully. I say hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much? This is probably completely off the race, but actually, how much practice have you done going into races like these? Because I know you're more. I mean, you're doing SDS again, so like, are you practicing a lot more? Are you feeling like you can probably get a championship at the top tier now?
Oh, hopefully, but I didn't do practice for this race. I had a new rim. I didn't practice with this rim at all, so it was pretty much blind going into this race. But yeah, I knew once I seen the rain, it was an opportunity to do well because I love the rain, and I think I kind of showed that.
Were you ever like surprised with your pace, as it were? So like, I mean, as you said, you didn't practice for this race, and you finished third today, and there's a lot of quick guys in here. So
yeah,
were you surprised?
Well,
yeah,
after like SES and stuff, just having no pace, it was nice to actually have some pace. And yeah, I was surprised to at least keep Jason, 6 to 7 seconds before that midway through that final stint. He kind of pulled away, then somehow I got the fastest lap on the second last lap, and I don't even know how, but it happened. But yeah, it's big confidence boost.
absolutely. So there's your top 3 guys. It was Jason from Vice, Ted from Danny, and I think that's the stream for tonight. Chick, do you want to round it off, because I introed. I feel it's only fair.
Okay. Well, yeah, a fantastic race for round 4 in Russia. Of course, like James said, we had Jason win it with Ted in second and Danny running off the podium. So thank you ever so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for the Spanish
Catalan
Grand
Grand
Prix. Catalan Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Good night.